Alright class, it's week 2 and it's session number 6. In the previous week we had revised the topics from your class 10th which includes functions, linear log, trigonometry and circular measure. So we have attempted different past paper questions for the basic revision, right? Now in today's class we are going to start from your O-level syllabus and we are going to start with the chapter number 15, that is differentiation and its technique. Now at first we need to understand that what is differentiation. All right, so I'm just writing questions here. So first thing we need to identify that what is differentiation. All right, the second question is how you define differentiation, or in other words what is the notation of differentiation. The third one, how you find differentiation, what is the working method or formula to find out differentiation. All right, so the first answer is what is differentiation. So differentiation is basically rate of change. In very easy words I am explaining you that differentiation is basically rate of change. Now it measures the change of one variable with respect to other, and to understand this concept easy, let's suppose we have an equation y equals to 2x plus 3. Very simple equation, right? When x is 1, the value of y is 2 plus 3 is 5. When x is 2, the value of y, it will be 2 2s are 4 plus 3 it's 7. When x is 3, it will be 2 3s are 6, 6 plus 3 is 9, and it will be goes on and on, right? So if I ask you very simple question, what do you think, y is our dependent variable or independent variable? With this short working, what you conclude with this working, that y is dependent or independent? Of course you will say that y is dependent. All right, and it depends on x. We are assigning the values of x, and with those values there is a change in value of y. So y is a dependent, and in this case x is independent. So basically differentiation, it is a relation of dependent variable with respect to, or you can say the rate of change of dependent variable with respect to independent variable, is what we are going to discuss in the topic differentiation. Alright, so that is your first answer. The next one, how you define or how you write differentiation. In this question I am saying that y is equals to 2x plus 3. If I need to define that differentiation symbol here, so I will say that it is d by dx of y. What does it suggest? It says that we are going to differentiate y, that is dependent variable, with respect to x, that is independent variable. So the general notation of differentiation is d by dx, that is the general notation. Now let's suppose if you have u is equals to 2s plus 5, so it will be du by ds, because u depends on s, or it can be any equation, that is an example, du upon ds. Or let's suppose that you have t is equals to 2v plus 5. So what do you think it will be? Now it will be d by dv of t, that will be representation of t with respect to v. All right, and if we are going to read that equation, so it says that rate of change of t with respect to v. So that is how you define differentiation. All right, the next thing, that how you find differentiation. Step number 3. So basically I categorize it in 3 steps, 3 very important and not difficult steps, very simple steps. The first step is you need to write power. These ये steps किसके that how we differentiate. Alright, how we differentiate any equation, any expression. So the steps are as follows. The number one step is you need to write power first. Step number two, subtract 1 from power, and the last one is derivate function which has power. Now I'm sure that none of you will get any of these steps because we did not apply any of those, but at the end of this lecture you will have an idea that how to differentiate any function. Now let's take very simple example. Let's suppose that we have y is equals to x square, that is the function of y with respect to x, and here I am writing some identities of differentiation, and those identities are number one, d by dx of constant. Constant means any number, any constant, so that differentiation of constant is always 0. That is your first and most important step. Number 2, d by dx of x is equals to 1. If these two alphabets are same, the answer always equals to 1. Similarly, if I say d by dy of y, that will be equals to 1. Again the same rule that these two variables are same, or it can be any two variable. If you say that dk divided by dk equals to, so that will be 1. So differentiate, if you are differentiating a function and these two alphabets are same, that means that will always equal to 1. Alright, now you have a equation y equals to x square, and we are going to differentiate this. What does dy by dx represent? Dy by dx is basically represent the gradient of a function. So basically if I find dy by dx of this function, so I am basically finding the gradient of that function. Alright, so firstly we need to find gradient of the function. So what I will do, I will apply d by dx on both sides because we need to differentiate it. So it will be d by dx of y equals to d by dx of x square. Alright, at first I applied d by dx on both sides. On the left side it will be dy by dx, that is unknown which we are looking for. If you observe on the right side, now we need to apply those formulas here. How to differentiate a function? How to differentiate a function? So the first step is write down the power. So the power we have is 2. So first I write down the power 2. After that it says step number 2, subtract 1 from the power. Initial the power was 1, but now we need to subtract the power, this one. Alright, so the first step, write the power. The next step, subtract 1 from the power, and the last one, derivate function which has power. So the function which has power is x, so I will write d by dx of x. Again I am recalling those three steps. Listen carefully. The first one, write down the power. So at first it says d by dx of x square, so power is 2. I wrote the power at first, that is my first step. After that, subtract 1 from the power. So the initial power was 2, I need to subtract 1, so that is step number 2, subtract 1 from the power. Step number 3, derivate function which has power. So the function which has power is x, so I need to derivate x, and we had discussed here that if these two variables are same, so that will be equals to 1. So now it will be 2x, 2 minus 1 is 1, and d by dx of x is 1. So that is your answer of dy by dx. If you find it difficult, if you find it that it is tricky or you are not getting it at all, not to worry about, because this is entirely new concept and you are reading it or listening it for the first time, so it is quite normal. In fact, if we are teaching it at the physical classes, so 90% of the students felt difficulty after the first lecture, but they are they will be getting things easily after a few lectures or after some time. So not to worry about at all. What you need to do, you need to write down this exact lecture in your lecture copy, and for that part you have a time of 90 seconds to note down the lecture in your copy. All right. Now, before heading towards the main exercise, I need to discuss some more examples so you can understand the concept. Now, let's suppose we have y is equals to x cube plus 3. That is your question, right? We need to find a gradient of the function, or it says that find gradient or find dy by dx. These two are possible questions for this equation y equal to x cube plus 3. So firstly I will write the question y equals to x cube plus 3. Alright. Now we need to apply d by dx on both sides. So I am applying d by dx on left side and I am applying d by dx on right side. I hope that all of you are clear up till this step. Alright. Moving ahead, dy by dx is equals to, now firstly I will multiply the d by dx with both of these elements inside the bracket. So it will be d by dx of x cube plus d by dx of 3. I hope so far so good. There is nothing difficult step that I had done so far. All are very basic steps regarding the multiplication of bracket. After that, since you have x power 3 and you need to derivate that function, now you are going to apply those three principles. I am writing down the principle here. At first we need to write power. Second, we need to subtract 1 from the power, and third, we need to derivate the function which has power. Right, there are three basic steps for differentiation. Now if I apply the steps here, so first thing you need to write down the power. So the power is 3. After that you need to subtract 1, so now it will be 3 power x power 3 minus 1, and then you need to derivate the function which has power. So the function that has power is x, so you need to derivate x plus, what is 3? Isn't 3 is a constant? Yes, 3 is a constant, and we had studied in the identities that d by dx of constant is 0, 3 is a constant, so d by dx of 3 is 0. Now it will be 3x to the power 3 minus 1 2, and d by dx of x is 1. So that is your answer of dy by dx. I hope now it is partially clear to you. And if it is not, there is not to worry about. We are going to attempt one more example. Alright, let's suppose now this time I am saying that y equals to 2x square, not square, 2x plus 3x square plus 5x cube. Alright, this question. So I hope that this question might clear mostly your queries, inshallah. Alright, so we need to derivate the function, or it says find dy by dx. That is your question. Alright, at first I will write the equation that y is equals to 2x plus 3x square plus 5x cube. We need to apply d by dx on both sides, so now it will be d by dx. On the right side we are going to apply d by dx as we had done here in the first step. After that you need to multiply d by dx with all these three terms inside the bracket, so now it will be d by dx of 2x plus d by dx of 3x square plus d by dx of 5x cube. Alright, I hope so far so good. There's nothing to worry about. All things are quite simple and easy. Now after that 2, 3 and 5, basically these are the coefficients, right? And if you don't remember that what is coefficient, let me remind you. If you have 6x square, then 6 is the coefficient. The number that is neighbor of your variable is basically the coefficient, right? So now we have coefficient 2, we have coefficient 3 and we have coefficient 5. So you can write the coefficient in this way, that you can write the coefficient before differentiation sign. So it's 2 and d by dx of x plus 3 d by dx of x square plus 5 d by dx of x cube. Alright, you have written the coefficient before the differentiation. What is the benefit? Now your question will be more simpler. How? For the first term, 2 as it is. We know that if these two alphabets are same, so d by dx of x is equals to 1. It is solved. The next one, 3 as it is. We need to integrate power first, right? So the power is 2. So what are the rules? First we need to write down the power, then you need to subtract 1 from the power, and then you need to derivate that function which has power. Alright, for the last one, 5 as it is. Again the same rules. First we need to write down the power and then subtract 1 from the power, and then derivate that function which has power, and that function for both the cases is x. Now you need to simplify it more. So 2 1s are 2 plus 3 2s are 6, x to the power 1, and d by dx of x for both cases equals to 1. 6x plus 5 3s are 15, x power 3 minus 1 is 2, and that is your answer of dy by dx. Alright, I hope that it is clear to you. Now you need to write down this solution in your copy, and you have a time of 2 minutes to write down all the steps in your copy. Alright, so start. Alright, so I hope that all of you had done all the work in your lecture copy. And now we are moving towards the book example. I'm not talking about the exercise question now. I'm talking about book example. That is your example number 2, exercise 5.1. It says find dy by dx if y is equals to 3x5 minus 2x cube plus 4x. Alright, again the same strategy, we need to apply d by dx on both sides. Alright, now this time I'm just writing it directly that it will be 3 d by dx of x power 5 minus 2 d by dx of x cube plus 4 d by dx of x, and on the left side we have dy by dx. Alright, so what I did, I just write the coefficient before the sign of differentiation. Now I need to solve it. So we know that first you need to write power. So it's x power 5, that means the power is 5. First you need to write power and then subtract 1 from power. So it will be 5 minus 1 is 4, and d by dx is always 1. So now I'm not writing it. So that is your first differentiation of x5 minus 2. First you need to write down the power, that is 3, then subtract 1 from power, so it will be square, and again d by dx of x leads to 1. So now I'm not writing it again. And the last one is 4, because when you have same variable, so that leads to 1. So d by dx equals to 1. We can solve it further. So now it will be 15 x power 4 minus 6 x square plus 4. That is your answer. Now you need to write down the solution in your copy, and for that you have a time of 1 minute. So start. Moving on to the next one. It's example number 3. It says differentiate 3x4 minus 4. Now it's x root, so I'm writing it x power 1 upon 2, that is the power of root, minus 2. Now we need to differentiate it. So first, if I write the sign of differentiation, it's d by dx of x4 minus 4 d by dx of x power 1 upon 2 minus d by dx of 2. Alright, now first thing it will be 3. The power is 4. First we need to write down the power, then subtract 1 from power, and d by dx is 1. First you need to write down the power, that is 1 upon 2. Subtract 1 from the power. So if I solve it here, that power is 1 upon 2, we need to subtract 1. That will be equals to what? The LCM is 2. 1 minus 2 leads to minus 1 upon 2. So 1 upon 2 minus 1, it is equals to minus 1 upon 2. So here the power is minus 1 upon 2. Minus derivative of a constant is always 0. Alright, now we need to solve it. So it's 2 and 2 cancel. 3 4s are 12 x cube minus 2 x power minus 1 upon 2. Alright, and if you write it in more simplest form, so it will be 12 x cube minus 2 divided by x power minus 1 upon 2. When shift in the denominator, that will be x power 1 upon 2. Alright, so that is your answer. That is the differentiated form of 3x4 minus 4 root x. So you have a time of 1 minute to note down the solution in your copy, and then I will start the next example. So start. Alright, now we are going to start the first exercise 15.1, question number 1. The question is quite simple and very clear. Differentiate the following with respect to x. First part and second part and third part. These three parts are your homework. So in today's class we are going to start with part D. Alright, these three parts are very much similar to the examples that we had discussed above. So for part D, the first is 4x plus 2 divided by x. You need to solve it further, but I will just help you with the first step. It's 4x plus 2. If you shift x in the numerator, that will be x to the power minus 1. Alright, and now you need to differentiate it. So for differentiation, first you need to give it a try by yourself, and time for this is 40 seconds. So give it a try. If you can do it, it will be very good, and if you are making a mistake or stuck at some point, then not to worry about, because that is the first question of exercise. So give it a try. Start. Alright, so now if I apply the differentiation, so that will be 4 d by dx of x plus 2 d by dx of x minus 1. And I won't write down the expression of d by dx again and again in every question. That is just a beginning, so I'm just writing each and every step, but after few questions we are just doing it directly. So for the first one, when you have same variable, it will be equals to 1, so that is equals to 4 plus, here you have, first you need to write down the power is minus 1. Then you need to subtract 1 from the power, and d by dx is equals to 1, so now I'm not writing it down. So now it's 4 plus minus minus 2 x to the power minus 2, and you can write it in 4 minus 2 divided by x square. That is your answer. Alright, after that, moving on to the next part, it's part E. Question says 9x square minus 3 divided by x square. So you need to give it a try first, and time for this part is 1 minute. So start. Alright, so now the first step, it's 9, and if I'm doing the directly, the derivative of x square, but I'm not doing it directly first, because we need to arrange the equation, and that will be first step x power minus 2. Now I can do it directly. So the derivative of x square, first you need to write down the power and then subtract 1 from the power, so it's 2x minus 3, and here it will be, first you need to write down the power and then subtract 1 from the power, right? I hope that all of you are getting it. So 9 2s are 18x minus minus plus 3 2s are 6 divided by x cube. That is your answer. So now you need to follow the direct lead. We are not going to write down each and every time dy dx on every step. That will take our time, and that is not mandatory to write down again and again. So you need to practice it so you can do it directly. For part F, it's 6 divided by x cube minus 1 divided by x plus 3. So give it a try first by yourself, and time is 90 seconds for this one. So start. Alright, the first step is we need to arrange it. So it's 6x power minus 3 minus x power minus 1 and plus 3. Now we need to derivate it. So pehle first power, then you need to subtract 1 from the power, it's minus 4. For the second one, first we need to write down the power, that is minus 1, subtract 1 from the power, minus 2. For derivative of a constant, it always 0. So now it's minus 18 divided by x power 4 minus minus plus 1 divided by x square. That is your answer. Alright, after that we have part G. So part G is 3a plus bx square. You need to derivate it, and for that part you have a time of 40 seconds. So start. Alright, so when I derivate it, if you consider the term 3a both are constant, and the derivative of constant is 0, plus b, the derivative of x square, it will be 2x. So the final answer is 2bx. That is your answer. Alright, and after part G we need to attempt part H. The question says 5x square plus 4 divided by x minus 2. Alright, that is your question. Give it a try by yourself. Time is 1 minute 60 seconds. I think sufficient enough for this part. So give it a try, and then I will explain. So start. Alright, so the first step is you need to arrange the equation. It's 5x square plus 4x to the power minus 1 minus 2. Now we need to derivate it. So 5 2s are 10x plus minus minus 4x minus 2, and derivative of constant is 0. So that is your answer. Alright, so I hope that at the end of this session all of you know that what is differentiation, that is the rate of change of dependent variable with respect to independent variable, right? We know that how to define derivative. It's dy by dx or dy by dx with respect to of any function. And the last, we need to understand the basic identities and the working, how to find the differentiation. That first we need to write down the power and then subtract 1 from the power, and the rules that we had discussed in this session. All right, so I hope that all of you now have a not 100% clear but partially clear idea regarding the differentiation. That is our first class of this exercise. Inshallah, in next class we are going to continue with the same exercise. So inshallah it will be more clear to you in couple of classes. But make sure that you are going to attempt your homework and you need to submit it on time, and try to do it by yourself rather than to copy it from your friend. Alright class, see you next class. Take care and Allah Hafiz.